What's happening, YouTube? It's Simon466cards, and today we're going to talk about where Panini and Fanatics stand with each other as it relates to the NBA and NFL license. So a couple of months ago, I made a video saying basically stop trying to figure out what's going on with this whole Fanatics and Panini thing. You don't know anything, nobody knows anything, and even though everybody thinks there's a deal coming, there's actually a lot of reasons why a deal is not coming where Fanatics buys out Panini. A couple months have passed and more information has come out, and I actually now think there's enough information to piece together where the two sides stand with each other. So the first one is Panini, and basically they have two goals, and these ones should be pretty obvious. One, if possible, get bought out by Fanatics and maximize the price that we get from Fanatics. And then two, if that doesn't happen, basically milk the cash cow that is the NBA and NFL license for the next 2 years until 2025 when Fanatics takes over. And from Fanatics' perspective, I think their goal is just very simple. It's not by Panini, it's not by the Panini brands, it's their one and only goal as far as I can tell, and I'm going to explain why in a second. Basically, let's just get the NBA license, let's get the NFL license and take over and move forward, and Panini can go away. And so I'm going to explain how I got to that conclusion and the different type of signs I'm seeing that prove that. The first one is this tweet from Shams, who is a big NBA reporter. He tweeted about Fanatics launching basketball cards under its Topps brand beginning next season. And he specifically says the NBA season right here, which I think is a key term because they don't have the license yet. So to mention NBA and not have license, it really makes you think a little bit about what does that look like. Secondly, here is Michael Rubin, the CEO of Fanatics, talking to Jeff Wilson of SportsCard Investor, and he asks him about that same thing about the NBA license and NBA cards under Topps and Fanatics.
Can you tell us anything about the NBA cards this fall? There's been the rumors on Twitter that you guys are doing NBA cards. It's been a little bit unclear what's going on.
Look, all I say is we're aggressive. We want to build great products. We want to go as fast as we can. And so we're moving.
Well,
All right, so you can read between the lines. He wants that license. He wants to make the cards. He wants to grow. He wants to move faster. He wants to move. But the other thing he said is we're aggressive. How are they being aggressive? Well, as some of you may recall, Panini had to sue Fanatics a couple of weeks ago for poaching too many of their employees. This article here on cardlines.com said that they took over 34 people from Panini over a week, which is kind of insane, which I assume is a pretty significant percentage of their entire team. And not only did they take 34, Panini says that they are all highly trained and high-ranking employees with access to highly confidential and proprietary information, and that they abruptly resigned. And so that's interesting from a couple of perspectives, but not in the way that you think. The first one is the fact that they were able to poach these 34 people at all. Why? Because if Fanatics and Panini were engaged in conversations and negotiations for a potential takeover, a deal, whatever, to get bought out, then Panini would have insisted on a non-solicitation clause. Basically, you can't hire the people from my company. Why? Because if the deal falls through, Fanatics, as part of the discovery phase of a possible acquisition, would have taken a look not only at just the financials of Panini and all that type of stuff, but they would know the structure of Panini, who the key individuals are, how the organization is like how basically the company works, so that they can figure out a proper and fair price to acquire the company. And the fact that they're able to poach these people suggests that this non-solicitation clause or non-solicitation agreement doesn't exist at all, because A, they never talked about a deal, and so that's why a non-solicitation agreement doesn't exist, or a clause doesn't exist in anything that they signed. Or B, it's been so long since they've talked that the non-solicitation clause or agreement has run out. And so, if they had talked in March of 2022 about a possible acquisition, fell through, they had a 1-year non-solicitation, that's run out by April and May of 2023. And so this tells me the fact that they're able to hire these individuals, and I don't think I've seen anybody else say this, is Panini and Fanatics aren't talking. They haven't talked in a really long time, if at all. And the only thing that Fanatics cares about is the license, because you can discuss and negotiate price on the license without needing to know all the inner workings of Panini. The second thing that's interesting is who these people are. Not only are they, high-ranking employees, confidential information, proprietary information, yada yada yada. It's who the people are and where they work. They work it says here, targeted almost exclusively at key members in Panini's production and acquisitions team. So now, what Panini is faced with is they wanted to milk the cash cow of the NFL and NBA license by printing, cards to the moon and just do, basically grab 2 years worth of revenue and income and maximize that as much as you can. Well, you can't do that if you can't make as many cards. You can't do that if you have production issues because you've lost key members of the team. And so what Fanatics seems to be doing is, you basically just want to sit there and collect the money for the next 2 years? Well, let's impact the amount of money you can make in the next couple of years by taking away key individuals, so you can't A, produce as much product, B, produce as high quality product, and basically you're going to have maybe production issues, maybe acquisition. I assume to mean whether it's materials for cars, for jerseys, for autographs, all that kind of stuff, all the things that you need to make cards to make that profit and revenue in the next 2 years. They're trying, from what I can tell, to make it harder for Fanatics to make money, or for Panini to make money in the next few years, which is kind of brilliant if you really think about it. So that's two ways where, Michael Rubin said, we're being aggressive. If you read between the lines and look at the evidence, they're being aggressive in ways that kind of force Panini to the table to make an agreement in terms of licensing that they might not want to make, but they might not have a choice in a few months, where, who knows what else Fanatics has on the table in terms of aggressiveness and tactics. And we've seen another one too, right? So Fanatics doesn't have the license for NFL. Panini does. So Panini's like, the NFL rookies, CJ Stroud and the other guy, Cloud, whatever, Bryce Young, sorry. At least we can produce their products, and you can they're one of the 2 years of rookie classes left we can milk. Topps is saying not so fast. CJ Stroud, yeah, we have their first autos, and they're available on the Topps website. Oops, wrong link there. Bryce Young, yeah, we also have their card available, first auto. There's no NFL licensing on these cards, but they're still on the Topps banner, and these are competing directly with cards for the same players that'll come out months from now. And so are they direct competitors? No, because they're non-licensed and all that stuff, right? It's obvious. But it's not like they're still trying to take a small bite out of the revenue pie that Panini expected to earn from this rookie class by making these type of products. So again, you go back to Michael Rubin saying he's being aggressive. Here's another way. They're trying to impact the amount of money that Panini can make in the next 2 years and force them back to the table to sign over the agreement. And so it's another ingenious way, to be quite honest, of how how Fanatics is trying to get and manipulate, basically coerce and aggressively target Panini and get them back to the table to force them to give the license over. It's kind of genius. The next thing that I think might be happening is game used materials. So Fanatics, as you can see, I'm a big Joel Embiid fan, as you know. Fanatics does all the COAs, the certificate of authenticities, for game used jerseys. You can see this on a jersey here for a Joel Embiid jersey. Same here. It's you can see the Fanatics logo in the top left corner for this Embiid jersey from 2 playoff games. Like, this is what they do. And why am I bringing this up? Well, I am recording this video early May of 2023. There is still one product from the 2021 season, 2021-2022, 2 full seasons have passed, that has not been produced by Panini, and it is Flawless. Why is this notable? Because Panini Flawless is the only set that has game-worn patches, RPAs from rookies. Everything else is just, it has that phrase on their cards. This patch, this blah 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 for all their rookies is not associated with any game or event or anything. We just got it from Dick's Sporting Goods. Flawless is the only one that has game used stuff, and so it makes me wonder: did Fanatics control the supply of jerseys for the rookies to such an extent that they made it almost impossible for Panini to get them, or did they block it completely? I am very interested to see I'm very interested to see whether or not the patches for the RPAs for Flawless this year, when it comes out, are game used or not. Because that would really be a feather in Fanatics' cap if they take away all game used materials for rookies and RPAs. And it would just indicate that they are playing that card and throwing their weight around in terms of jerseys. And even if they were able to drag their feet out this long, think about it. The rookies in this set have just finished their sophomore season. So all the hype from that rookie class has been cut down significantly because there's 2 full seasons. Are you still feeling high about, Jalen Green? Right? Are we still, how high are you feeling about Scotty Barnes after this year? Right? And even Evan Mobley, right? So, and Cade Cunningham, he got injured, right? So the amount that people are willing to pay, isn't going to be as high as when those players and those rookies first debuted. 2 full seasons have passed. All the mystery and hype is, I would say it's all gone, but it's definitely dissipated a lot. And so by delaying these products more and more, your Fanatics is basically reducing the amount of money that Panini can make from these products. Like, I don't think these Flawless cases are going to go for, $8-10 grand anymore. Like, I mean, is anybody that excited for a Jalen Green RPA at this point? Probably not as much as a year ago. Cade Cunningham, probably not as much as a year ago. Scotty Barnes, probably not as much as a year ago. Evan Mobley, probably not as much as a year ago. And so if this is another way that Fanatics is not manipulating, but like basically using their place and their power to impact how Panini can produce product, like, honestly, like, chef's kiss to them for such a just ingenious way. And basically, as far as I can tell, Panini is just getting, like, they're playing marbles and Fanatics is playing like 9D chess at this point. Like, they're not competing at all on the same level. And, Panini might be thinking, well, I mean, at the very least, I can go back home to Europe and print my soccer cards in a couple of years when the license runs out. And this will be a nice little run we had for 10 years in the hobby in North America. It wouldn't be so fast. Fanatics is being aggressive. Remember Michael Rubin? He's being aggressive. Well, they just bought out the top merchandiser for soccer in Italy, which I assume means they make all the jerseys and other things. So Italy is where Panini is headquartered. They're headquartered in Italy, Modena. Assume it's Modena. And like, I hope people at Panini realize that Fanatics is coming for them, not just in North America. Like, don't think they're not going to be going after the card business in Europe in a few years. They are basically following the playbook that they created for North America. Would you be that surprised if in 3 years you see a headline that says Fanatics and Topps are taking over the licensing for Italia Serie A or whatever, right? Like, no, not at all. Taking over for, all the various soccer leagues across Europe. No, I wouldn't be surprised at all. So Panini, I really hope you're aware of what's happening, and it might actually be in your best interest to just sell everything and just you're done, because you don't have A, the business acumen of Michael Rubin and Fanatics, and B, your businesses might be gone in 10 years, maybe even less than that. So get out while you still can. So that's it. That's the video for today. A lot of corporate intrigue. So hopefully you found it interesting and insightful. If you did, give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and I would also be interested to know if you have any other thoughts on what I've said today. Is there something I'm missing? Do the little puzzle pieces I put together here, does it add up to the conclusion that you agree with, or do you have a different conclusion? I'd be really interested to hear. One last thing before we go here, check out Hobby News Daily. They have me as one of their content creators, hobbynewsdaily.com. They create a daily podcast in the morning called The Morning Minute for you to get started with every morning. It's about 5 or 7 minutes. It's really great. And then they also have daily featured articles from various different writers that is also really well done. So shout out to Hobby News Daily. Check them out on the internet, as they are the homepage of the hobby, as they like to say. With that being said, thank you for listening and watching. If you enjoyed the video, again, like and subscribe, and I will talk to you all soon. Cheers.